Well, hello there. It's Wednesday for me, so it's time on Earth stories of Jesus. Well, he may not be in the picture, but it was around his time. I learned a lot of these while I was doing archaeology. That means I was an archaeologist. I was one moving big stones, finding interesting objects underneath them. And whoops, human. Uh, the so those stories come from that space. Other things I may have heard. I think they're healing stories in a sense, giving us a bit more understanding of what's going on with that time period. There was a lot going on. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I just did my nutshell testimony type thing, you know. And most people in my university's course are going to be in their 20s, 19s, 18s. I'm in my 60s. There's a lot of tread, a lot of yeah, but anyway, life on these treads. That's how I always say it. Um, so they're in for maybe an interesting ride. Have you ever thought of the reality that, you know, there is this wonderful, amazing God that we know, and he walked the earth for a period of time, all the way up through childhood. Started in a manger in the dirt. He could have come in as a grand king. He could have demanded and we would have complied. That's not how he came. He came to watch us, to show us it could be done. And he did it. He went right to the cross, rose 3 days. Interesting, the time of him ascending covers a basic reality of proof. First by one, then by two, then by a small group, then by another smaller group or bigger group, and finally at least over 500. There must have been at least 500 in that crowd. It's a thought, isn't it? That a being called God would send a part of that themselves, called Jesus, that had been the living Word, became the new Adam and the Messiah, the one that would lead us out and will lead us in a time to come. And we will be with him forever in the infinite space called heaven, and eventually to dwell with him forever when this earth is restored to what it was. That's kind of my thought. So I thought I'd give you that thought. You can think on it, chew on it. I know some say, "Wow, don't go so close to that fire." Oh, I will. I'll dance in it, actually. I have a few times. So let's leave it there. If you wish to get a hold of me, you can just reach out to Eric at starthealing.me and I'll send you a link. You just say, I wish a link. I'll send you a link. And we can talk. You can book, of course. Then we have to talk. And maybe I'm part of your healing puzzle. Maybe I'm part of those that God uh, gives you to help you along the road. Maybe I'm just a little further along. Maybe we're pretty close. Who knows? Let's find out. Of course, like, share, and subscribe. If you subscribe enough, we'll do one of those stories where, turning door story is what I call them, where you go so far and you have a door or a ship or something. It's different. You could stay on the planet, take the ship, take a shuttle. Yeah, we'll give you a few options. You'll figure them out. And in the life, you get to choose. This story will then be given to you. Yes, I'll give you a link. And if we all agree that we wish that live to go up, it will. So let's get on to that story. Christ on earth. Time on earth. It comes out as toes. I didn't plan that, by the way. It just happened. Anyway, let this storyteller tell you a story. This one is an interesting one because, oh dear, human. Been using my voice a lot in the last little while. It's deciding to be crunchy. I think we're here now. Let me see. Oh, up, oh, up. Yep, we got a froggy. But he left. Hoppity, 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 hoppity. I know. Who is this strange man? Where did he come from? Oh, I came from places, I can tell you. Maybe one day you'll get to hear my testimony. In fact, you can use that same email. I'll give you the nutshell. I just did. It's parcel, any bit. Might get more later. Anyway, enough of that. Off we do the story. Oh, we're in the story now. Well, this story started with a very interesting request for our biblical, and that's what they were, uh, biblical archaeology team to go to a place that usually wasn't allowed to go to. It's just nay done. South Arabia, not happening. But they wished us to go. They gave us special envoy. They gave us guards so that we wouldn't get killed by people that would get upset because we were talking about Jesus. And we would be because that's what we were going there to look for. This was an unofficial, not on the books, never going to be talked about again, kind of to the heat death of the universe, if you can understand that, secret. So why can I talk about it? Well, the reality is it's just a story. And they never had us sign anything. They just kind of threatened us until they believed that we were enough threatened that we wouldn't. But I think it's pretty cool. Well, we'll call this woman Ahid, and Ahid. It's a bit of a play on words, but Ahid, and that's what she actually did. She wrote like about 30 scrolls during the time of Christ, um, while in southern Arabia. So not near, but yet somehow near. And this one's going to take you places, and you may not believe it, but then Philip was translated from one place to another. Well, she wasn't, but she was given a pool of water by an angel to live by. That's where she lived out her entire life. And the reason that we had been invited into this space was so that they could get a hold of those scrolls and destroy them. That never happened, of course, because God did, for the entire team, pull one of those Phillips moments. We ended up back at the conservatory in Jerusalem with all of those scrolls intact, and they were quite interesting. I'm just going to give you a couple of excerpts from that time. Yes, we were transported just like Philip was. 1 minute you're there, 1 minute you're there. All those guards must have been looking around going, where'd they go? Where did scrolls go? How did this happen? Because when they tried to go into that house, they couldn't. They got pushed back. They couldn't see the angels. We could. The angels were right there, just going, nope, not go in. Can't touch. That's why they brought us in, because we're Christian. And they had plans to kill us. God let us eavesdrop, and we heard that. So once we had all the scrolls, there were about six of them, 60 of them. Oh, sorry, got to add a zero on that. It's interesting, you know. I'm in my 60th year, and I did this. I connected with Christ for the first time as my Savior at 6. So you just add a zero. We might get one of those hand symbols, but my hands are up here, so I don't know how that works, but it happens sometimes. But just let it go. So anyway, this is one of the excerpts, and then I'll give you one more. And if you wish the rest, well, I can start a playlist for these. Um, might talk me into doing one more YouTube per week. They're pretty cool. And as I said, we're just using an acronym in a sense. I hid, because she did. She hid. And this is one of her excerpts from one of the scrolls, translated by a guy that really understood that language very well. and quite the scholar. And it goes like this. I am 33 and now husbandless. Uh, he left me for something other than me, of course. I am destitute. I am thrown out. I am worse than a dog. I am camel spit. I am now wandering in the upper deserted places, the wilderness. The animals here will soon get me, I would imagine. Allah has completely abandoned me. And in a very interesting echo, she goes, my God, why have thou forsaken me? And at that moment, an angel appeared. She realized she wasn't in the wilderness anymore. Well, she was, but in a cave she hadn't seen before. Angel set very specific instructions. You will find food here. You will find water here. You are not to leave. There is papyrus growing, and I know that you know how to make scrolls. You can write everything you like. It may be seen sometime in the future. And by the way, the angel said, there's only one true God, the I am that I am. The Jewish nation calls him Jehovah. She knelt and she said, I will call him Jehovah too. And as the days went on, she said, the first few days were just food, drink, survival, happy to be alive, praising Jehovah, oh, the mighty God, the I am that I am. And then she looked in the pond that was there. The angel had told her something going on in that pond. You might want to look once in a while, and she did. She saw something happening, and it was amazing to her. She saw someone doing miracles. It's human, probably 100% human, but acting in the way that someone would be, well, Jehovah? She wasn't sure, but she was watching him heal. So she wrote down what he had been doing. It's all about his healings. The healing of a blind man by spitting mud. Ooh, mud. Ugh. We would never pick that up. That's foul. Oh, look at that. Put it on the guy's eyes, had him go and wash, and he's seeing? Oh, there's more to this story. Much more. And then the pond changed. There was a little boy, and he walked in, and he was really excited. He caught a grasshopper. It took him a long time to find that grasshopper, and then catch it without killing it. He didn't want to murder the grasshopper. He wanted to cage it for a little while, and then he would let it go. Knew nothing was supposed to be caged. Walked in, and his mom was doing something that moms do, but not with his father. He ran out and was struck blind. He could not see what he saw. It was foul. It was dirty. It was not right. But he couldn't out his mom. His mom had been good to him. And he didn't want to tell his dad. His dad probably had a bit of a temper, probably run her through or something. And that guy, and there'd be all kinds of trouble. So he kept his mouth shut. He grew up blind, stumbling around. Eventually, he would find himself on Beggar's Row. And eventually, that one, that Jehovah's Son, his name Yeshua on earth. would find him and spit on the ground with mud, make mud, which was defiled in every Jewish law. He would have heard him spit, would have heard him put the mud on his eyes, but I think he understood. I think he understood that the defilement that his eyes had seen was being washed away by mud that was defiled. And he did see. Of course, this is just me looking in a pond that an angel gave me to look in, and this is what I saw. End of my first writing. Beginning of the second writing. This is interesting. This is a story being told at the fire. Yeshua is there, and the ones he has called, I watched him do that, but he's talking about something that's amazing. He doesn't usually talk about those things in public, but here he is with just his disciples. Everyone else is kind of snuggled in for the night. The crowds are mostly gone. There's a couple listening. Now there's Mary Magdalene and her sister. A couple of other women that have been helped by him, but that's about it. They're all there listening. And he talks about something that is deep, tells them something about Jehovah. Not something she had heard before, not these books on Allah, but she's learning Jehovah is different, better, kinder. Henceforth she has food. Henceforth she has water. She is safe in this little cave. The sun peeks through the top periodically. The rain stays off if she stays to the side. She's well looked after. And that's what Jesus is talking about. This man called Yeshua. I will know him by many names. They all mean the same thing. Attributes and actions of a man that has come, born in a manger, in the dirt. According to the visions I'm seeing, his death will be horrendous. Then he will rise. Then he will go and be our high priest. Strange words in my mouth, but that's what I see. Yet, what he teaches here is incredible. I don't dare write it all down, but I can tell you this, that it changed my understanding of God's compassion, care, and concern for us. I will give you the parable, he said. He said, there is a man, and he rules. No one can gainsay him, no one can overcome him. But he's also kind, not a tyrant. He has a son, beloved. He loves that son, only son, only one he's got. And he asks his son to go and survey the land, to move amongst the people, to teach them how to be. So when he comes, he can be in joy with them instead of judgment. It goes all right for a while. Then some get disgruntled and some get jealous. Some just get upset that their power core is being overcome and they're losing their capital. So I gang up on him, and one of his own that he had brought along to teach rises up, goes and tells them something, and the son is killed horrifically. And everyone would believe that the father would come in judgment. And then a miraculous thing occurred. The son that was dead rises, seen in a few different places. He said, I go to prepare a place for you that will follow me and what my father says. And he became quiet. He said, I'm going to go sit on the rock over there and talk with father for a while. She said, this was incredible. Changed everything for me. She said, a little while later, he came back from that rock and he explained that he was that son and that this would happen to him, but it was a good thing. Peter then remembered what had happened and about his rebuke, and Peter thought he would stand, stated it quite clearly. Yet I had seen what he would really do. Well, my fingers are tired from writing, and I require rest. I will end this writing here. And she did. Now, there were 60 scrolls, and that's just two excerpts off the first scroll. Yeah, I know. Pushing boundaries a little bit, aren't I? But you got to understand there's history behind this. There's things showing behind this. But this is true. But I don't ask you to believe it's truth. I ask you to feel it's truth. If it discerns as truth, then it may be. What are these for? Well, these aren't canon, for sure. They weren't supposed to be in the Bible. They were just little nuggets that you could find that would make you stronger in your faith. And that's what it's all about. So I'll leave this time of Jesus on earth here. I'll give you a blessing of wisdom, vision, knowledge, understanding, and dreams, wrapped in joy and peace and wonder, with great insight and wisdom from the one that's holding that brush and everything that brush wishes to paint for you, which is God, and God is holding that brush, and His will is to give you this blessing. And if you wish, you can accept this blessing, and then it will become for you. Now let's conclude this with a prayer. We come before you, Father, Spirit, Son, and wow, you took us places. And we just know those stories are going to touch people's hearts and open their soul to you, and that they would be drawn closer to you. And if it's the first time, then Lord, lead them home. Let them understand that all they really require to do is to admit where they really are, and they know that. They get it. It's not easy. Oh, Holy Spirit, just move through them, touch them. I know you can, just a little bit. So all I really got to say is that, oh Lord, I am a sinner, and I accept your gift. I ask you to live within my heart and begin the change. I wish to be owned by you. I give it all to you. That's it. Then go find one person and say, hey, this is what I did. Hopefully somebody you can trust so you can build with. Maybe somebody you can share with. Great Commission says we you'd share it. If it's the 100th time, well, then let the Lord take you deeper. Let you find more compassion, joy, peace, thriving, even in the middle of turmoil and chaos. That can still be. And we just ask Father to seal it all up, to do what He wishes with these stories, according to His will. And we say, give us grace and mercy, and courage and strength as we go. And we say, thankful, grateful, gratitude, thankful, grateful, gratitude, thankful, grateful, gratitude. Standing in awe and honor and respect, allowing all glory to flow to Father, Spirit, Son. This is, and so this is. So when you rest well, rest well. When you wake well, wake well. And know that your path is well lit by God. Blessings.